The Chicago Bears are 2-2 and now move on to play the Las Vegas Raiders in Week 5. So I'm here to give you guys my pick and predictions. What is going on, y'all? Fox Sports Talk back at it with another video talking, of course, some NFL. And here to talk about the Chicago Bears. And if you are a Bears fan and you are going to want to become one if you aren't, because Justin Fields was just announced a starter, by the way. But that's besides the point. If you are a Bears fan, make sure to go ahead and hit that big red subscribe button down below. Make sure to follow me on all my social media platforms. And guys, hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I drop a new video. Again, big exciting news was that Justin Fields was announced as a starting quarterback for the Bears moving forward, not just for this game, but for the rest of the season. I gave my thoughts in another video. You guys can go check that out. But here to give you guys my game preview for the Bears versus the Raiders in Week 5. So a lot to get into. Let's dive into it. All right, so this one is tough to figure out. This one's tough to figure out because here's the thing, folks. All right, the past 4 weeks, I was pretty confident in who I was going to pick with each of the Bears games. And I'm pretty perfect right now. Not pretty perfect. I am perfect in the sense that I've correctly predicted every single game for the Bears in the first 4 games in terms of if the Bears will lose or win. And the games that I picked them to win, they won. And the games I picked them to lose, they lost. So I'm perfect 4-4. Can I keep that streak going? Let's see, all right? And when we take a look at the Raiders here, the 3-1 on the season, folks, a very impressive start for them. I certainly did not see this coming. I'm sure a lot of people didn't. They actually took their first loss on Monday Night Football against the division rival, the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, the Chargers are a good team. No shame in that. But the Raiders finally came back down to earth. And a large reason of their success was their quarterback play in Derek Carr, who, before this last game against the Chargers, folks, I'm not going to stutter here. He was in the MVP conversation. I mean, he was playing that well. So Derek Carr came back crashing down to earth. But he was playing excellent. All right, he's been great for them. Darren Waller's an absolute stud, one of the top 3 tight ends in the NFL, I believe, alongside Travis Kelce and George Kittle. And so the Raiders' offense has been very solid, to say the least, this season. Their defense has been decent as well. So they are a pleasant surprise for a lot of people, all right? So when I'm taking a look at the matchup here for the Bears going up against this Raiders team, it's in Las Vegas. I believe it's a 5.5-point spread. So the Raiders are favored here and by a decent amount. And it makes sense, right? They played pretty well. And for the Bears, how do I want the Bears to attack the Raiders? Well, now that I know that Justin Fields is a starting quarterback moving forward, there's a set game plan that you want to take in place here that you wouldn't take if it was Andy Dalton, right? Everything changes with Justin Fields as a starter. And you want to do a lot of the stuff you did last week against the Lions, right? Get the deep shots going to Darnell Mooney, Allen Robinson. But there's an added element here that I want the Bears to emphasize here, okay? And this has a lot to do with the fact that the Bears do not have their starting running back moving forward for the next couple of weeks in David Montgomery. All right, David Montgomery's out with the knee sprain for the next 4 to 5 weeks. We know that now. All right, so it's going to be Damien Williams as the next man up. Now, I like Damien Williams. He's a solid, replacement level running back in this league. And a couple of years ago, when the Chiefs went to the Super Bowl, Damien Williams played well enough to win the MVP that game, and he would have if his name was Patrick Mahomes. But that's besides the point as well. But Damien Williams is a good pass catcher, probably even better than Monty in that aspect, but he's not better in between the tackles, not better at breaking tackles, and certainly not as explosive as Montgomery. But Damien Williams is serviceable in this league, and hopefully he can contribute pretty well, all right? And behind him, you're talking about a guy in Khalil Herbert who's a rookie, and then maybe we see Ryan Nall. God, I hope not. Trey Cohen's still not going to be back. So the backfield's pretty weak in terms of losing David Montgomery because Monty was playing unbelievable this season. He already had 200-yard games and he was coming off a 2-touchdown game. And that's important. Why? Not just because Monty's obviously one of your best offensive players, but because the Raiders' weakness is more through the run than the pass, right? So they're 19th overall in terms of their defense, 13th against the pass, and 23rd against the run. So they're more susceptible to the run than they are the pass. So I would have liked the Bears to run the football more if Monty was there. But since Monty isn't there, this is where I'm telling you, I want to utilize a new element here, which is use the tight ends more. Why? Take a look at the Raiders' last couple of games. Mike Gesicki lit him up for 10 catches, 86 yards, had a touchdown. So did Jared Cook. So did Darnell Parham, the number 1 and 2 tight ends for the Chargers. You can get tight end production against this team. They're weak against that position, right in the middle of the field. I want to see a lot of Cole Kmet. I want this to be the Cole Kmet game. I want this to be the game Cole Kmet finally breaks out, has a solid game. You know, Darnell Mooney's had a 100-yard game. A-Rob finally had a sign of light last game. It's time to get Cole Kmet involved. Even dust off old Jimmy Graham if you have to. Get some tight ends involved, middle of the field, crossing routes. Make it easy for Justin Fields, all right? Don't make it, you know, too difficult. And obviously, Bill Lazor will be calling plays, I assume, I hope. And so I want to see an emphasis on the tight ends being utilized in this game just because the Raiders have shown that they're susceptible to that because of the previous opponents, all right? Second thing, on defense, we need to pressure Derek Carr. That needs to happen, folks. Derek Carr is getting the ball out insanely quick, and the only way to neutralize him is your pass rush getting there quicker. Now, Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn have been excellent this season so far. I need them to continue. By the way, this is a revenge game for one Khalil Mack, so we might see him have a pretty big game. I hope that is the case. And so I need them to get to Derek Carr because, again, Derek Carr has been unbelievable this season. The rest of their weapons outside of Darren Waller don't really scare me. They've got a bunch of, you know, decent guys, nothing great. You know, you're talking about a guy like Brian Edwards and, you know, you have Hunter Renfrow. Again, Henry Ruggs, he's a deep threat. So, again, nothing too scary here. Not too worried. I think the Bears defense should be able to do work against this offense. But it all starts with pressure on Derek Carr. So, let's get that pressure going. All right, so overall, 2 keys. Get the tight ends involved and then get pressure on Derek Carr. Offense and defense, 1 key for both. That's how the Bears win this game. They're on the road. It's going to be tough in Las Vegas. Hostile crowd. We know how wild their fans are. Do I think the Bears win this game? We're finally at that point now. I have to make a prediction here, folks. And I told you I'm pretty perfect right now. I am perfect. 4 for 4. Do I keep it going? And I'm going to say this, folks. As well as the Raiders have been playing, I still think that they're going to come crashing back down to earth even more. This is at home. They have played pretty well. But I just have a feeling here that with Justin Fields now starting, the Bears offense starting to get some rhythm off of their win against Detroit, and the fact that the Bears have a bunch of tougher matchups coming up, I think this is the one they can surprise some people and take advantage of them. Not confident, but I think I'm going to go out on a limb and say the Bears win this game 27-24. A very close game, and the Bears get it done because I think their defense neutralizes Derek Carr by getting pressure on him, and I think Justin Fields brings the spark to the offense that we need. And the Raiders defense still isn't very good. We just saw Justin Herbert light them up for 28 points. So I think Justin Fields should be able to do the same. And like I said, they had a hot start to the season, the Raiders did. But who's to say it's going to continue? I don't. I'm going to pick the Bears here to win this game. 27-24 is my final score. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think the Bears win this game? I do, just slightly, but I do. Leave a comment down below if you agree with history as always. Thanks for watching.